Welcome everybody to WrestleRant edition number 62. I am of course your host for this evening, Bleacher for Feature Columnist Level 2, Graham GSM Matts. I'm here today to review an electric week in the world of wrestling, and this has been huge from the epic event that was Raw 1000 to a very solid edition of TNA Impact Wrestling this past Thursday night, as well as a very entertaining edition of Friday Night SmackDown that aired last night. A very good week in wrestling to say the least. Before I get down to my reviews, I'd just like to point out that today I'm wearing my Matt Hardy t-shirt that I bought last week when I was on vacation in Virginia Beach. Very cool Matt Hardy t-shirt, quickly becoming one of my favorites. And as well as I said in past WrestleRant videos, I will be wearing a WWE Championship of mine that I will be holding for every WrestleRant going forward until I run out. And today I'm holding the prestigious European Championship. Will hopefully one day make a comeback, but one can only hope. Now let's get down to each show here. Epic event Raw 1000. I'm not going to go through everything in specific because I mentioned it in my Raw review this past week on nextwrestling.weebly.com, my spoilers podcast, as well as SAVE US GSM. So I've talked about these shows all week long, and I really don't want to repeat myself. However, I will touch upon the certain highlights of the show, and I will say that Raw 1000 was a fantastic show overall. A lot of nostalgic moments, a lot of good action, although there wasn't a lot of it. But it was their 1000 show, so I will let that go. The very fresh feel of the show. A lot of things to look forward to, especially CM Punk's shocking heel turn that closed the show. I'm really looking forward to where that goes. Although I don't certainly agree on the move to turn CM Punk this early. I think that it could have made a more marketable babyface going forward. However, it does intrigue me, and I am looking forward to next week. So I am happy and content in that aspect. Seeing Lita back in the Heath Slater angle was pretty cool. Undertaker, the Brothers of Destruction, that was awesome. As well as, the first ever teaming between Sin Cara and Rey Mysterio. The Rock coming back and saying that he's going to be challenging for the WWE Championship at Royal Rumble in a couple months. I shouldn't say in 6 months, in January. But I think that gives us something to look forward to for the first time in months. But yeah, this is a great edition of Raw. I think the only low light of the show was the wedding between AJ and Daniel Bryan. I don't think that was all that necessary, since AJ was named the Raw general manager anyway, only moments later by the hands of Vince McMahon. So I don't think it was all that logical to go through the wedding just to screw with Daniel Bryan. But nonetheless, I thought it was a decent segment, nothing too bad. Charlie Sheen played his role well, so I'm glad that he wasn't overutilized or underutilized. At least he was on the show, and they fulfilled their promise by having him on the show as the social media ambassador. But yeah, a very good show. A lot better than I thought it was going to be. To be quite honest, maybe not as an epic event that I thought it was going to be. Actually, you know what? It's right in between. I think it met my standards. I would definitely thought that WWE was going to drop the ball here, seeing that it was their biggest show of the year, and probably their biggest show in recent memory, and they certainly fulfilled their promise by making this a fantastic event. I was thoroughly enjoyed throughout the show. Hopefully they have the wherewithal to keep on going forward with this new 3-hour concept, because I will say that the 3 hours kind of dragged along, especially with a lot of the long segments, such as the D-Generation X reunion. But I think that got its deserved time. That was an awesome segment. I think that was the highlight of the night, in my personal opinion. D-Generation X reuniting. That was way too fantastic. The best way to open up the show by far. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to where they go from here. Maybe they create some new storylines with Cena and Punk, now that Punk is a heel. Maybe something having to do with AJ and Daniel Bryan, the Christian and The Miz. The Miz is the new Intercontinental Champion. Another thing I marked out for on Raw 1000. I thought that was a great move to put the title on. Christian wasn't doing all that much with the belt anyways. The Miz can finally restore some prestige in the Intercontinental Championship for the first time since Cody Rhodes held the belt a couple months ago. But yeah, I thought this is a fantastic event. Hopefully they keep up the momentum going forward. Now, to get down to Impact Wrestling, not a lot to say about this week's show, but it was a pretty good show to say the least. Aces and Eights is probably the main focus on the program right now, attacking the likes of Kurt Angle, Sting, Hulk Hogan, Sam Shaw, who also got a second chance in this week's show. I am liking the program. I am intrigued by it to see who's eventually behind the Masked Men. I know TNA isn't 100% sure who they want to be the Masked Guys or the leader behind it, but I am certainly looking forward to the payoff come Bound for Glory in a couple months. I do believe that Jeff Jarrett is behind it. That makes the most sense, since Sting was the first inductee into the TNA Hall of Fame, and I think Jeff Jarrett should have had that honor, as well as the fact that I believe Sting was the one that fired Jeff Jarrett on television, obviously, back in December when Jeff Jarrett left television. So, yeah, I think that's going to be the eventual payoff for the angle. But in the meantime, I am certainly enjoying what they are doing with this story in separating out throughout the 2 hours of the show. I am intrigued by the fact that it could be James Storm. I don't want him to turn heel, obviously. They're kind of foreshadowing it, but I think they're just trying to tease us that to think that it will be him, but I don't think it will be. I think they're just kind of teasing the feud between Robert Roode and James Storm going to Bound for Glory in a couple months. Austin Aries is TNA World Heavyweight Champion, is going great as well. Another great performance this week. I'm sorry, well, going into next week, he's going to have a tag team match, tag teaming with Kenny King against Zema Ion and Bobby Roode. That should be a good tag team match, as well as another awesome match between AJ Styles and James Storm. Fantastic action, as well as a main event between Kurt Angle and Bully Ray. So a very wrestling heavy show this week. Loved it. A lot of good stuff. Hopefully they have a very good pay-per-view in a couple weeks, Hardcore Justice. They haven't advertised a lot with the show except for Bobby Roode versus Austin Aries, but hopefully they give the go-home show. I'm sorry, it's in 2 weeks, so they have 2 more Impact Wrestlings until the pay-per-view. So hopefully they advertise more matches and give some more build going forward. Now, Friday Night SmackDown last night, another very good broadcast, very entertaining. I thoroughly believe that all the SmackDowns this month have been entertaining, in my opinion, very enjoyable, which is a bit surprising to me because from what I've seen, SmackDown this year as a whole hasn't been all that great. I think SmackDown has certainly been suffering since the start of 2012. I think that's just the content of it. I don't think it was as entertaining as last year. However, the month of July has done wonders for the Friday nights, for the Blue brand, and just a lot of good stuff coming out of SmackDown this week. Christian and The Miz, an awesome, no pun intended, Intercontinental Championship match. Hopefully we get the continuation of that feud, but I'm thinking that Christian cashed in his rematch clause early to allow The Miz to face Randy Orton in a grudge match at SummerSlam, since it was Randy Orton who delivered an RKO to The Miz before Randy Orton was suspended. So maybe we see that feud at SummerSlam. Who knows? Another very good match coming out of last night. We have Cody Rhodes suffering a loss to the World Heavyweight Champion Sheamus in non-title action. Another very good match. Cody Rhodes, I think, should have picked up the shocking victory here, especially even if it was with the help of Dolph Ziggler, who played his role well at ringside, teasing the cashing in of his Money in the Bank briefcase. I mean, that was pretty cool. But great action. Hopefully we see an eventual feud between Sheamus and Cody Rhodes develop in time. Chris Jericho as a babyface, I am loving. I didn't think I would. I think he plays a heel much better. However, I do think I am enjoying this, the turn with Chris Jericho feuding with Dolph Ziggler. I think that's going to be a great feud if it gets booked correctly. So hopefully they do have a match at SummerSlam, as well as the main event, the Fatal 4-Way match where Alberto Del Rio defeated the likes of Rey Mysterio, Daniel Bryan, and Kane to be crowned the new number 1 contender, or once again the number 1 contender to the World Heavyweight Championship in the very near future. It wasn't established that it was going to be at SummerSlam, so there's always a possibility that Del Rio has his rematch next week, and then it turns into a triple threat at SummerSlam. Rey Mysterio versus Del Rio versus Sheamus. I think that'd be a great matchup. So I'd love to see that match come to fruition. It'd be a big blockbuster of the summer. So yeah, overall, this is a great show, a great week in wrestling overall. Except for 2 news sites, or just 2 news sources coming out of this week, just 2 major releases. Karma officially being released from WWE. I know it happened 2 weeks ago. It was rumored, but now it's finally official. Karma finally confirmed it. But yeah, so it's sad, depressing news, since Karma was probably the best worker in the company and was never actually able to work a match while with WWE. But maybe she's going to be back in the future. I know the door is always open for her to return. So hopefully she is back in the very near future, and I am excited to what the future brings her going forward. Velvet Sky, she asked for her release from TNA and was granted it. This probably comes off the heels of Angelina Love asking for her release a couple weeks ago and getting her release granted as well. So maybe we see the beautiful people in WWE. I think that would be an excellent move. I think they'd fit in perfectly with the Divas division, so we'll definitely have to see going forward. But it's a major blow to the Divas division, or I should say the Knockouts division in TNA. How many great talents left. I know they weren't the best in-ring workers, but they were entertaining, and Velvet Sky was my favorite knockout on the roster. So yeah, overall, I gotta say this is an awesome week in wrestling. Hopefully they continue the momentum going into August. Now TNA and WWE are finally on the same page. as far as enjoyability goes, entertainment. So I am certainly looking forward to what these two companies bring forth come August, the rest of the year. So make sure to follow me on Twitter at @SAVE_US_GSM, at SarcasticSmart, and as well as at WWE Fun Facts. Make sure to visit my website for all the WWE TNA Rumors, recaps, and more at nextwrestling.weebly.com. Make sure to check out the re-debut of SAVE US GSM, which was on PW247.net this past Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 9 Central Time, immediately following Impact Wrestling. We had a great show. We're going to be having our second edition on PW247.net this upcoming Thursday, same time, immediately following Impact Wrestling at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 9 Central Time. So make sure to go check that out at PW247.net. As well as Spoilers, my blogtalkradio.com/spoilers blogtalkradio.com/spoilers archive. The podcast that I do with Ben Gartland every Thursday night. Time to be determined, but as of late, it's been after 11 p.m. Eastern Time. So maybe we'll get out a definitive time slot for it going forward. But right now, it's going to be on Thursday nights. Make sure to check that out this upcoming Thursday, as well as my Bleacher profile for all my latest articles. Make sure to subscribe as well. I really do appreciate all these subscribes that you guys give me. So enjoy your weekend, guys, and make sure to enjoy the upcoming week in wrestling, and make sure to tune in for Raw 1001, I should say. Yes, for CM Punk's the fallout from Raw 1000 and CM Punk's epic heel turn. So make sure to check that out. And this is GSM signing out. Till next time, guys.